going on, everybody? As you can see, today we're inside of the 65 Fastback, and that is because we will be installing the American Auto wiring harness. I got the full kit from headlight to tail light, but today we're only going to be installing the underdash section, which includes the fuse box and most of the wiring, but I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. I know there's a couple videos out there, but they're pretty dated, and I know the kit has changed in the last few years. Mainly the mounting location for the fuse panel. Most of this video will be routing and mounting of that fuse panel because I don't have anything else in the car. Every one of the old wires was removed. So if you're planning on doing this, you're going to go ahead and have to remove all those wires as well. So let's go over the things that you will need. First off, you will need the set of American Auto wire crimpers. And yes, I know they are pretty pricey, but they are well worth it, as I've seen from other reviews. With the set of normal crimpers, you would get some pretty ugly crimps. But you will need these and a drill, so you could make a new hole for the mounting of the fuse panel. Apart from that, that's pretty much what you need. But to make it look a little nicer and neater, I do have some Tesa tape. It's like electrical tape, but it's a bit more rough, and they use these on more of a German cars, but I do like the look of this. And I have some 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch wiring loom, as you can see. And this is splitting, so it wraps up again in the wire. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and some shrink wrap to tidy up the ends of that loom. But that is pretty much it as far as tidying all the wires up. I will have a link for all that in the description. So first step of this install is mounting, or not mounting, but drilling the new hole for the fuse panel, which they do give you a pretty nice template that shows where it's gonna go. So you just line this up, and then your new fuse panel will be ready to be mounted. So where you're gonna go ahead and this is adhesive, it's sticky paper, so we're gonna go ahead and place it right here in this section. So in this paper, it shows you which one the existing hole is, which is those over there on the right, and then the new hole you're gonna go ahead and drill, which is the one marked in red. So the existing hole would be that one right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and place it on. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and stuck that paper on there. So now we're gonna go ahead and drill on that red dot. That is where the pre-existing hole was, and since mine only had one hole, I'm gonna go ahead and drill out these two marked holes right there. So the red one and the blank one. Okay, now that the holes are drilled, as you can see, there's the new two. Kind of scratched up the pillar on the end, but probably I didn't align it right. Anyway, let's get on with the install. Okay, so before starting to put everything in, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the larger sections of the harness with some of the Tesa tape. Just to, might as well do it. It's going to be harder to put it on while it's in there. If you are curious on where to put the tape, I'm going to go ahead and do it on the large sections. So the ends that split off like this, I'm not going to go ahead and put it on just yet. Okay, so after it is wrapped up, this is how it looks. I gotta say, I like the Tesa tape a little bit more than the wire loom. It looks a little bit cleaner, but I just went ahead and did all the big chunks and left all the little wires out. But it looks pretty good. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and start the install portion of the video. One thing, if you see me sweating, it's because I'm inside a car in Arizona that's covered. I can't really open the windows because it's super windy outside and it'll just mess up the audio. So I don't want any comments saying how sweaty I am. Anyway, so first part of the install is installing the fuse panel bracket onto the fuse panel itself. So we're going to use the supplied hardware, and the bracket is going to go like this on the pillar, and the fuse panel is going to go like this, so it's going to sit horizontally like that. Okay, once again, now we have our bracket mounted on the fuse box, and this is the orientation. And in the picture it shows the screw going upwards and the nuts on top. So now we're going to go ahead and try to install it. Okay, now we're going to try to route it. So I'm going to put everything that goes on the left or on the right side of the engine thing first, and just push it through. And if you just painted your dash like I did, try real careful not to scratch it. So there's a lot of things going through and going on, and I already scratched mine. And like I said, we're putting everything that goes into the right side first, and they do provide a really good diagram on what goes where. So this is really interesting to install the fuse box. Okay, so as you can see, the fuse box bracket is in its rough location. We're going to go ahead and mount it up with the two provided screws. Alright, as you can see, our fuse panel is now installed. Now we're going to use these supplied clips and put them up here. There's one here and one here to hold this big section that goes to the whole passenger side of the car. Alright, next step is going to be mounting our relay assembly. They do include a template for this as well. So we're just going to go ahead and stick it on the wiper motor bracket. Let's show you where. So it is going to go on this bracket, and it is, as you can see, the orientation of the relays. It's going to go like so. So I'll show you once it is installed. Okay, I know it is a little hard to see, but our template is now mounted. I'm going to go ahead and drill on those red holes. Alright guys, so the relay bank is now installed. I went ahead and put two pan head screws on there, but it is not going anywhere. Anyway, that's how it looks. That's how it's supposed to go. So let's go on to the next step. So we'll just give it a little overview once again. So we start off at our fuse panel that is mounted up. The wires are routed up here. These are the gauge cluster wires. Those down there are for the engine harness and the turn signal switches. And then we move on to our radio wires and our courtesy lights over there, and the brake light switch and the dimmer switch. Alright guys, looks like that is it for this video. I know it looks a little rough right now, but it's because we don't have anything to connect any of these wires to, so it's obviously just a rough install. But we did get the fuse panel mounted and the relay assembly mounted as well. I hope this video was informational, and anybody who wants to do this harness or is thinking about doing it, I'd highly recommend it. It is super easy. All the wires do look intimidating, but once you get it laid out and wrapped up, it makes it 100% less intimidating. So I hope this was helpful. I know a lot of the videos out there are very old, so I hope this was a good updated version. But once again, here's a couple more sections to this harness, like the gauge cluster, the engine bay, and the tail section of the car. So let me know if you guys want me to make a video on that. But we are almost ready to drop the engine in and give it her first start. So if you want to see that, go ahead and like and subscribe, or follow along with any of the 65 Fastback or 289 build. Once again, thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.